Jnanakosha, Puranas, Introduction.
सर्गच्च प्रतिसर्गच्च वंशो मन्वन्तराणि च वंशानुचरितं चैव पुराणं पञ्चलक्षणम् सर्गच्च प्रतिसर्गच्च वंशो मन्वन्तराणि च वंशानुचरितं चैव पुराणं पञ्चलक्षणम्
Brahma Puranam, Geography. Having heard accounts of the solar and lunar dynasties, the sages requested Romaharshana, tell us a little about the geography of the world. What does the earth look like? What are its limits? Romaharshana obliged and said, the earth is divided into 7 regions, Dvipas. Their names are Jambu Dvipa, Plaksha Dvipa, Shalama Dvipa, Kusha Dvipa, Krauncha Dvipa, Skanda Dvipa and Pushkara Dvipa. These regions are surrounded by 7 oceans and their names are Lavana, Ishku, Shura, Sarpi, Dadhi, Dugdha and Jala. Jambu Dvipa is the center, and right in the middle of Jambu Dvipa is Mount Sumeru. To the south of Sumeru are the mountains Himavan, Hemakuta and Nishada, and to the north of Sumeru are the mountains Nila, Shweta and Shringi. Jambu Dvipa itself is divided into several regions. For example, Sumeru is in the middle of Ilavrita-varsha. Bharatavarsha is to the south of Sumeru. To the east of Sumeru is Bhadravarsha, and to the west is Ketu Malavarsha. Harivarsha lies to the south and Ramyakavarsha to the north. Still further north is Hiranyamaya-varsha, and beyond that Uttara Kuruvarsha. Brahma city is on the peak of Sumeru. It is there that the river Ganga descends from heaven and gets divided into 4 tributaries. Sita flows eastwards, Chakshu westwards, Bhadra northwards, and Alakananda southwards into Bharatavarsha. There are 7 major mountain ranges like Bharatavarsha, and their names are Mahendra, Malaya, Sahaya, Shuktimana, Riksha, Vindhya and Pariyatra. Bharatavarsha itself is divided into 9 regions, Dvipas. The names of 8 of these regions are Indra Dvipam, Saumya, Gandharva and Varuna. The 9th region is completely surrounded by the ocean in all directions. To the east of Bharatavarsha live the Kiratas, and to the west the Yavanas. Below the earth lie the 7 regions of the underworld, Patala. Their names are Atala, Vitala, Nitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala and Patala. The Daityas, Danavas and the snakes live there. The underworld is a wonderful place, more beautiful than heaven itself. The sage Narada once went on a trip to the underworld and was bowled over by its beauty. It is full of palaces and jewels. The sun rises there but does not radiate too much of heat. The moon also rises, but its beams are not at all chilly. The forests are populated by beautiful trees, and the ponds are thick with lotus flowers. The songs of cuckoo birds are heard everywhere. Below the underworld sleeps a great snake known as Shesha or Ananta. It has 1,000 hoods all covered with jewels. In fact, this snake is really Vishnu in one of these various forms. Also part of the world are hells, presided over by Yama, the god of health and god of death. Those are full of weapons, fire and poisons, and sinners are sent there to be punished. Sins that are punished by dispatch to one of the several hells are lying, murder, killing cows, destroying cities, drinking, killing brahmanas, theft, selling wines or hair, criticizing the Vedas, insulting elders, making weapons, selling salt, destroying forests, needlessly killing sheep or deer, cheating and studying under one's own son. Each sinner receives a punishment that is in proportion to the severity of his sin. Of course, if one performs penance, prayashchitta for one's sins, one need not go to Naraka. The best form of penance is praying to Krishna. The earth, Prithvi or Bhuloka, extends up to those arts of the sky that can be lit up by the rays of the sun and the moon. The expanse from there to the solar circle is known as Bhuvarloka, and holy sages live there. Above the solar circle is the lunar circle, and beyond it in succession come the regions of Mercury, Buddha, Venus, Shukra, Mars, Mangala, Jupiter, Brihaspati, Saturn, Shani, the great bear constellation Saptarishi, and the pole star Dhruva. The regions from the solar circle to Dhruvaloka is known as heavens, Swargaloka or Swarga. Beyond Dhruvarloka is Maharloka and further away Janaloka or Tapaloka and Satyaloka. At the end of a kalpa, all the three lokas, regions of Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Swarloka are destroyed. But the four lokas of Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka and Satyaloka are not destroyed. Konark. There is an ocean to the south of Bharatavarsha, one of the shores of this great ocean. There is a land named Andhra or Utkala, present Orissa. Utkala is populated by religious people, and the Brahmins who live there are learned in the Vedas. They are very good priests, learned in the Puranas and the Shastras, and skilled in the art of the sacrifices. In the land of Utkala, there is an image of the sun, Surya, known as Konark. The word Aditya also means the sun, as does the word Arka. Thus, Konark is the same as Konarka, a corruption of the letter word being Konarka. The image of Konark is so wonderful that even if one gazes at the image, all one's sins are forgiven. All around the temple there is sand, but nevertheless many trees grow around the temple. The best time to worship the sun there is at the time of sunrise. One has to face the east and draw a lotus flower on the ground with red sandalwood. The lotus flower must have exactly 8 petals. A copper vessel has to be placed at the center of the flower and filled with paddy, sesame water, red sandalwood, red flowers, and sacred grass. One prays to Surya to descend on the lotus flower that has thus been drawn. If one worships Konark according to these prescribed rites, the sins of 7 preceding generations are forgiven. The 12 Adityas are nothing but different forms of Surya. Their names are Indra, Dhata, Parajanya, Tvashta, Pusha, Aryaman, Bhaga, Vivasvarvana, Vishnu, Amshahumana, Varuna and Mitra. As Indra, Surya destroys the enemies of the god. As Dhala, he creates living beings. As Parajanya, he showers down rain. As Swasta, he lives in the trees and herbs. As Pusha, he makes food grains grow. As Aryama, he is in the wind. As Bhaga, he is in the body of all living beings. As Vishwavana, he is in fire and helps to cook food. As Vishnu, he destroys the enemies of the gods. As Amshuman, he is again in the wind. As Varuna, Surya is in the waters, and as Mitra, he is in the moon and in the ocean. In each month of the year, it is a different Aditya who shines. Indra shines in the month of Ashwina, Dhata in Kartika, Prajanya in Shravana, Swasta in Falguna, Pusha in Pausha, Aryama in Vaishakha, Bhaga in Magha, Vishwavarna in Jaista, Vishnu in Chaitra, Anshumana in Ashoshada, Varuna in Bhadra, and Mitra in Agrahayana. Vishnu has 1200 rays, Aryama 1300, Vivashwana 72, Anshumana 15, Parajanya 72, Varuna 1300, Twasta 1100, Indra 2200, Dhata 1100, Mitra 1000, and Pusha 900. Apart from the names of the 12 Adityas, Surya has 12 other names as well. These are Aditya, Savita, Surya, Mihira, Arka, Prabhakara, Martanda, Bhaskara, Bhanu, Chitrabhanu, Divakara, and Ravi. Brahma once recounted to the sages the 108 sacred names of Surya. The Brahma Purana lists these names, and we reproduce them in 9 groups of 12 names each. Surya, Archana, Bhagavana, Swasta, Pusha, Arka, Savita, Ravi, Gabhastimana, Aja, Kala, Mrityu is the first group. The second group, Dhata, Prabhakara, Prithvi, Jala, Teja, Akasha, Vayu, Parayana, Soma, Brihaspati, Shukra, Buddha is the second group. Angara, Indra, Vishwavana, Dipthamshu, Shukchi, Sauri, Shaineshwara, Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Skanda, Vaishwavarna. The third group, Yama, Vaidyayuttam, Jathara, Agni, Aindana, Tejospati, Dharma Dhvaja, Vedakarata, Vedanga, Veda Vahanam, Krita, Treta, Dwapara, Kali, Sarva Sarahaya, Kala, Kasta, Muhurta, Kashpa, Yama, Kshana, Samavatrasara, Ashwata, Kalachakra. Vibhavasu, Shavavrata, Purusha, Yogi, Vyakta, Vyakta, Sanatana, Kaladhyaksha, Parajaksha, Vishwakarma, Tamunda, Varuna, Sagra is the sixth group. Amsha, Jimta, Jivana, Ariham, Bhuta Shraya, Bhutapati, Sarvaloka Namakrita, Shrahasta, Samavrata Akar, Vahini, Sarvadi, Alolupa is the seventh group. Ananta, Kapila, Bhanu, Kamada, Sarvotama Mukha, Jaya, Vishala, Varada, Sarvabhuta Sveta, Mana, Suparna, Bhutadi is the eighth group. Shikhra Raga, Pramadhara, Dhanavantari, Dhumaketaki, Adideva, Adityanandana, Dvastatma, Ravi, Daksha, Pita, Mata, and Pitamaha as the ninth group. Indrajumna and Purushottama Kshetra. In Satya Yuga, there was a king named Indrajumna. He was a very powerful king as Indra himself. He was handsome, honest, and truthful, learned in the Shastras and the Vedas, and skilled in the use of weapons. His radiance put the sun to shame. Indrajumna was devoted to Vishnu. He once decided that he would worship Vishnu. A tirtha is a sacred place of pilgrimage. Indrajumna scanned all the existing tirthas and cities, but none of them satisfied him. None of them he felt was appropriate as a place for worshipping Vishnu. Indrajumna's own capital was the city of Avanti in the kingdom of Malwa. Avanti was a beautiful and wealthy city, surrounded on all sides by moats and other fortifications. Traders from many countries came there with all sorts of commodities for trading. The roads of the city were lined with shops. The houses were painted white. The king's stables were full of horses and elephants. All citizens of Avanti were pleasant of appearance and happy. Sacrifices were held fairly often. Many were the temples, groves, and ponds in Avanti. Any tree that grew on earth could be found there. There was a temple to Shiva in the city. This was known as the temple of Mahakala. The image there was so sacred that worshipping Shiva in the temple of Mahakala was tantamount to performing 1000 Ashwamedha yagas. The river Shipra flowed past Avanti. On the banks of the river there was a temple of Vishnu known as Govindaswami. Another temple is Vishnu was named Vikramaswami. But Indrajumna was not satisfied with these temples. He wanted to build another temple to Vishnu. He left Avanti to look for a proper place. His soldiers and subjects accompanied their king, so that it looked as if the entire city of Avanti was on the march. After traveling for many days, they arrived on the shores of the southern ocean, the ocean that is known as Lavana Samudra. There were so many waves in the ocean that the ocean itself seemed to be dancing. Marine animals lived in the ocean, and the waters were also the source of all sorts of jewels. Indrajumna began to live on the shores of the ocean. He discovered a place near the ocean that was thick with flower and fruit trees. Many types of birds gathered there to eat the fruit. This was the place known as Purushottama Kshetra, the city of Puri of modern times. Purushottama Kshetra was a very important tirtha, but all knowledge of this tirtha had been hidden until Indrajumna arrived on the scene. There was a reason for this. Many years ago, there used to be an image of Vishnu there where people used to pray. So sacred was the image that all the sins of the worshippers were immediately forgiven. The result was that Yama could not punish any of the sinners. They simply prayed to Vishnu's image and escaped. Yama therefore prayed to Vishnu for a solution. Vishnu hid the image under the sand so that no one knew that it existed. Indrajumna liked Purushottama Kshetra. The river Mahanadi or Chitropala flowed not very far away. The people who lived around the place were religious. He decided that this was the right place for building a temple to Vishnu. On an auspicious day, the foundation stone was laid. Indrajumna then got in touch with the kings of Kalinga, Utkala, and Koshala. He requested their help in fetching stones for the building of the temple. The king sent their architects to the Vindhya mountains. The stones were gathered from these mountains and brought to Purushottama Kshetra in boats and chariots. Messengers were also sent to several other kings for aid. They came with their armies and with a lot of wealth. Indrajumna told the assembled king, I wish to accomplish two difficult tasks. The first is to perform an Ashwamedha Yajna here, and the second is to build a temple to Vishnu. Both of these are difficult jobs, particularly the second. But if you help me, I am confident that both jobs can be done. The kings agreed to help. They offered jewels, wealth, gold, clothes, food, grains, and other objects. The place where the yajna was to be held was made entirely out of gold. In fact, all the objects used in the yajna were made out of gold. Brahmanas from all over Jambudvipa came to witness the sacrifice. They were donated elephants, horses, and cows as alms. Never has there been any other sacrifice was over and the temple built. There remained the more important question of the image. How was this to be made? Indrajumna began to pray to Vishnu for guidance. Vishnu appeared before Indrajumna in a dream and said, Why are you so miserable? When the sun rises, go to the shore of an ocean. There you will find a tree. Half of the tree is in the water and the remaining half in the sand. Chop down this tree. Its wood will give you the material for the image. In the morning, Indrajumna went to the seashore and found the tree. It was just as Vishnu had described it to be. With an axe he chopped down the tree. As he was about to slice the trunk in two, two Brahmanas appeared before him. Although Indrajumna did not know it, these two Brahmanas were Vishnu and Vishwakarma in disguise. King, what have you done? Exclaimed the Brahmana. You have cut down the only tree that was on the shores of the ocean. Forgive me, replied Indrajumna. I wish to make an image of Vishnu. Vishnu has instructed me in a dream that this is the tree from which the image should be made. That is an excellent idea, said the Brahmana, who was Vishnu in disguise. There is nothing so holy as praying to Vishnu. Meet my companion. He is skilled as the great Vishwakarma himself. If you want, he will build the image for you. King Indrajumna agreed, and instructed by Vishnu, Vishwakarma started to build the image. Or to be more accurate, there were three different images. The first one was that of Baladeva or Balarama. This was completely white in color, except for the eyes, which were red. The image was dressed in blue and snake held its hood over Balarama's head. A club and a mace were in Balarama's hand. The second image was Krishna's. This was blue in color, with eyes like lotus flowers. The image was dressed in yellow and had a chakra in its hand. The third image was that of Krishna's sister Subhadra. This image was golden in color and was dressed in wonderful clothes. When the Indrajumna discovered that the images were made in a matter of minutes, he was thunderstruck. He realized that the two Brahmanas could not be mere mortals. He fell at their feet and said, Please tell me who you are. You can't be human. Vishnu and Vishwakarma then revealed their true selves, and Indrajumna was thrilled. Vishnu blessed the king and told him that he would rule for 10,900 years, and even after Indrajumna died, a place would be reserved for him in heaven. On an auspicious day, the three images were instated in the temple.